on that. Just before we wrap it up here on Checkpoint, let's take a look at what are some of the big stories we are expecting this week, and that we'll be following up on for you in our newsroom. Of course, we start with the BBI hearings that have been ongoing for about a month now. The BBI Implementation Task Force has been meeting, citizens, civil society groups, religious groups, political groups to present their views. We expect that the hearings will conclude this Tuesday, which will be the 10th. The public hearings will conclude on the 10th of this month, which is Tuesday. And the task force thereafter is expected to organize regional meetings, of course, after the validation hearings that have been happening at the KICC. So on Tuesday, they finalize the hearings, then head to the next stage of this particular process, which will be organizing regional meetings, rather. The Nairobi Takeover, it's been about a week or so now since the national government took over some of the key functions of the Nairobi County government from Governor Mike Sonko. We expect that KRA will become the principal agent for overall revenue collection starting March 16th. So this week, final preparations on the takeover and some of the sectors they need to be in the know on before they start this task. KRA is expected to act in this particular position as the principal agent for overall revenue collection for 24 months, according to the Gazette notice that was released this past week. And also the revenue collection will include parking fees and trading license fees, as for what the Nairobi County government has been doing. And Nairobi residents were engaged in public participation forums on the takeover. Whether efficient or not is another story altogether. So we'll be keenly following up the Nairobi takeover and some of the changes, if any, that would have been made in Nairobi as far as, collection of revenue and how things will be run overly here in Nairobi. Well, the Kenya-Somalia Relations, remember, just today, President Uhuru Kenyatta sent a delegation led by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i to meet President Mohamed Farmajo. And of course, in a committee meeting that they will also meet aside from Farmajo's Somalia side. This move signals an attempt to quell tensions between the two countries over alleged border intrusion. And remember, Monday there was very heavy gunfight between Somalia and Jubaland forces in Bulahawa, which is near the Mandera border. And the eyes will be in this particular committee to see whether these diplomatic talks will yield any, fruit by the end of the day. Of course, the Kenyan side, they are led by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Will be seeing whether each country will be dropping their hard stance, as we've been seeing from the statements that have been sent. Somalia accusing Kenya of meddling in its businesses, internal affairs, and Kenya saying blatantly that Somalia is spoiling for a fight. They should instead concentrate on their internal affairs. So we'll be seeing how that goes. Another big story, the Kenel murder puzzle and generally the probe last week, or this past week, we saw the DCI, release as a blow-by-blow account on what transpired during Kenel's last moments. And as a result, there's been public pressure to unravel this case, at least make some arrests, and of course, we are expecting maybe this week we will be witnessing some arrests from the DCI over the Kenel murder that is currently being pegged at the office of the Deputy President, being at the center of the investigation, according to the police, and especially from the DCI. So it is a story, of course, coming hand in hand with a 39 billion shilling fake arms deal, with a man right at the center of it being former Sports Cabinet Secretary Rashid Echesa. We'll be seeing how this will pan out and whether the DCI will make true its a threat to make some arrests this week. And of course, tomorrow will be 2 years since the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga. Has it yielded any fruit? What has this meant for the country? We'll be bringing you special reports tomorrow on the same. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Checkpoint. My name is Akisa Wandera. Our sign language interpreter is Damon Evans. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow on KTN Prime.